Hello, welcome. Joanne and I are back. Welcome, Joanne.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
We have a plan to do, I don't know how many, but we'll do practical, shorter videos because we get asked lots of questions. When we have our longer discussions, lots of topics come up and we don't dive deep into some things. So today, the question that has come up repeatedly is how do you do an infusion? How do you combine plants with plasma or Shivambu? How do you use everything we know in holistic and herbal medicine alongside Shivambu? And so, on a very practical note, um, that's where we want to start today. So, now that I've said that, what's come into your mind first, or your awareness first about?
Well, sorry. And as you already mentioned just before this, uh, the to start with, your plasma is perfect for you already. You don't need to enhance it, and I
Yeah,
really love that you said that.
right. So,
Um,
just yeah. So, thank you for reminding me. Right off the top, um, people come at Shivambu with the same with great curiosity, but they also come at it with the same way they've been taught to work with everything else. And so when they encounter plants or they encounter essential oils, it's like, why just put rosemary in something? I can put lemon and rosemary and lavender and these, and I get all the benefits of them all at once. And that's perfectly okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But why, when we then come at Shivambu and think, I need to make it better,
mhm.
and so that's part of,
No, you don't.
okay, yes. And Joanne and I are in agreement. We do not need to make Shivambu better. However, you've experimented a lot with this. So
Yeah, and actually, it just as any other Shivambu experience, it's like when you when you start to experiment, you feel like I feel like I'm still just discovering all of this, so um yeah, it's an ongoing process. But I started with really simple things like black pepper and rosemary, like separately. I did initially do what you said, and I'm going to put everything in, and hmm, didn't turn out as good as I thought it was going to. It was like too much of too many different things. So now I really prefer like to hone in on each ingredient individually and do my infusion with that and feel what that tastes like. That one thing, and you'll get to know your herbs so much better, like even just as a culinary experiment, to know your pepper better, know what pepper really actually tastes like in a deeper way, or rosemary in a deeper way. So I used to do larger infusions, and now I've just dialed it down to like almost single dose infusions. I don't do long infusions anymore because it just pulls so much out of the plant material so quickly that you don't really need to, like, it's not like alcohol where you do your tincture and you let it sit for a really long period of time. We're talking hours or maybe a day. And you can taste it along the way, and you'll feel when you're like, when I did rosemary, it was like pulling stuff out of the bark. It was like getting really deep into the plant. So
well, and
yeah,
here's a
it's
question too, just so like really practical. Are we using fresh or aged, or both?
yeah, I'm right now I'm just using aged.
Okay. And so for anyone who's listening who hasn't aged any urine Shivambu plasma yet, aged also has different personalities, whether it's a month old or 6 months old or 2 years old. Like, so there's different things that might potentially change or shift over time, but that's okay. Again, it's all an experiment. There's no,
Mhm.
would you say like there's a minimum that you would want someone to have an age,
Yeah, well, I what would you call aged? I would call aged like, oh,
like
I
rocket
guess I would
ship?
call aged like 1 week minimum.
Oh, I mean,
Or like a month aged is better, like the what you're using as a
yeah,
base material.
I would, if someone's going to really try to work with something that's more subtle, the older it is, the more subtle it's going to be, the more evolved is going to be
Absolutely.
more subtle. And so if you are in crisis, this is where I always come back to, if you're in crisis, 4-day-old Shivambu counts. It will give you the potency if you're in crisis and that's what you need. But if you're
Yeah.
not in crisis, age it for a month.
Yeah,
Minimum.
absolutely. And for us right now, because we're traveling so much, I don't have I don't have aged anymore. I'm starting afresh every time. I have one little tiny bottle of I guess it's about 6 months old now that I'm like
Yeah.
keeping to send to Fiona actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I get it's just what you have on hand and what you want to experiment with. And yes, the older, the better, the more evolved it is, the better, the more mellow it is. And I mean, it's just like wine, really. You can compare it to that. Though
Yeah.
as it ages, it changes a lot.
And just to get this out of the way, then, for people who are going, but what about fresh? Will
Yeah.
you use fresh for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have like in the morning, usually now I'm just having straight fresh, but in the morning I usually do an infusion and let it sit for a little while. Like I'll do my moringa, that's sort of a staple for me, moringa powder. For years it's been a staple for me. And so that's usually in my morning shivambu with some other powders. If I'm doing fresh, it's usually a powder. I don't usually put something like I have a my infusion here that I started. This is my aged,
Mm-hmm.
and in here is juniper berries.
Okay. Yeah, I can see them.
So, and I just started this morning, and I'll have this this evening, or I'll probably taste it partway through the day. Like 4 hours from now, I'll probably have a little sip of this, and then I just use a simple tea strainer.
Great. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll filter it through a coffee filter a paper coffee filter if I feel like it.
Yeah. And
But
again, muslin, cotton
yeah,
t-shirt, whatever you have will
yeah,
work. Right.
linen, yeah,
Yeah.
those are all great. And like the what I usually use is like a pillowcase cover, like that kind of weave,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's up to whatever.
Yeah.
You can
So,
eat the whole, I could eat the juniper berries if I wanted to, but I
yeah.
don't want to put mass.
Right. Yeah. We're going with the liquid at the moment. So
Right.
you have fresh, you could take fresh any time of day, and you could put, now you're finding you're putting more powders in them, but you could put a piece of fresh rosemary from your
Yeah,
garden.
yeah,
And but
yeah.
again, even though it's fresh and not aged, aged has that more of a, it has nothing in common with alcohol other than it has this ability to pull. And so it
Yes.
can really grab. Fresh also will do that, but they're two different personalities of the same thing, because your Shivambu is always you. So it's just two
Mhm.
different personalities. So if you were working with fresh, would you still say like a day is more than that's enough?
Yeah, I haven't really done a longer than a day with fresh. I'll usually consume that right away.
Right. So this, I said, no
And
more than, yeah.
sometimes if I want to like feel like have it pull a bit more, I'll warm it up
Mm, okay.
and
So
that'll help.
also definition of fresh. I mean, I said no more than a day, but most of the, like for me, fresh generally is within like 12 to 15 hours, but I will kind of give it up to 20 to 24 hours. There's a moment where it changes and you can
Mhm.
smell it. It shifts. And when that shift happens, I'm like, okay, you're not fresh. And I either
Right.
keep it or I do something, or I let it go.
Yeah,
But
that's usually what I do too.
yeah, so if you're looking for fresh and you want to put plants in fresh, or you want to, whether it's herbs, plants, we should mention essential oils and whether that's what we think
I
about.
have never done that, but if you have an edible essential oil, I and you do already do infusions with it, I would give it a try. But
Yeah.
yeah, just
Again, it's knowing your oils. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
make sure if you're already doing that,
yes.
if you're already ingesting those, then yeah,
Yeah. So with fresh, it short is good because you don't have a long time with it anyway. And you
right.
just have to trust. that whatever you put in there, the infusion is going to work. The Shivambu is intelligent, and the plant is intelligent, and they're going to work together, and
Mhm.
you're going to learn from the experience. So if you work with rosemary and fresh Shivambu, you try it after half an hour, you try it after an hour, you try it after 6 hours, and you're going to learn
Yeah.
by
Oh,
doing that.
yeah.
And
And
that's
another good one is to learn is just to feel the difference or the impact is cayenne. Actually,
okay.
really interesting with cayenne. Just start with what you have in your kitchen. We've done anise, cinnamon, all kinds.
Okay. And then
And then
so
the Ayurvedic powders we have, those are um, more. We
like
use those
trifle,
more in our fresh, actually.
okay, like trifala and haritaki and
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
those are really staples, actually,
Okay.
for
So
us.
yeah, and those, so you'll put those in the fresh in the morning, let it sit while you do something else, and then consume
Yeah,
it. Okay, but yeah,
yeah.
you're not, again, you're not
And
leaving
I
it
like to
for
do it
hours.
when it's warm.
Right.
In general, when I say fresh infusion, I really mean like fresh.
It just left the body.
Yeah,
It's still body temperature.
ideally.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
It seems to go in better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course. Yeah. Anything that's body temperature is easier for the body to come back with. Okay. So then moving
Yeah.
back to the using evolved or aged, that is a much more potent thing. But again, if we go back to the idea of infusions and historically, like even like why or whiskey and vodka and all those things, they're called spirits,
Yes.
and they take the spirit of the plant.
Yes.
And they also, that's also why alcohol takes our spirit.
Definitely.
It's so aggressive in the way that it works. So the difference here, like if someone's used to doing infusions with alcohol,
They're going to be
yes.
blown away by this.
so,
Honestly, it's like really different.
so speak to what that difference is.
Yeah, well, like when you take and actually this is Kevin, who I spoke with a little while ago.
Mhm.
Um, he does blue lotus tinctures that he sells, which are great. I don't have any problem with people doing tinctures.
No, I use tinctures as well from
Yeah,
trusted friends who or give me things. They're beautiful gifts.
yes, but if you have access to the plant material and you want to try your own infusion with you will definitely see a difference. And it was really great to get his feedback. Way more powerful. He was really blown away. Like you need way less
Plant.
to have that same effect. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was using blue lotus. So it was really great to talk to him because he had experience with alcohol tinctures, and then he had experience with his own aged Shivambu, his own aged plasma tincture. And the difference was really night and day for him.
Mm,
Um, the experience that he had, super impactful. I haven't, and people say with mushrooms too. So I microdose, or I have been microdosing mushrooms while I've been here, psilocybin, just because I've been able to. I have easy access to them. It's not a legal problem. So I thought, well, let's give this a try since we're here. And yeah, and I just I'll just take one mushroom and put it in my aged Shivambu and let it sit for 45 minutes, not long, till it kind of puffs up and absorbs the plasma. I think because the plasma, the pH, like it's so alkaline when it ages that it just pulls
yeah.
everything out of the plant material so much more effective
Yeah.
than alcohol. And then you're putting this thing into your body that your body knows and is familiar with, that has this essence in it from this spirit, from the plant in it. So it's like way more, it feels like it's way more bioavailable to the body because there's that recognition right away that, oh, this is me.
Yeah.
This
It's
is,
it's like when people are really into working with their seeds before they plant them, and they'll take their seed and put it in their mouth so that the saliva starts to work on the seed, and then you plant the seed, and your DNA and your body's way of being is now implanted and co-creating the growth of that seed. So when you harvest the tomato or the zucchini or the whatever, it's more bioavailable to you because your saliva was involved. But this is
Mm.
even beyond that because, of course, the Shivambu is the full essence of your whole being and all your emotions and your thoughts and your organs and your like everything. So, along with that, then, same sort of idea. If somebody wants to try it, you could take, um, well, a couple things too. We don't want the plant material rotting in the Shivambu either, right?
Yeah, so I
So,
let some sit for a while once, and it doesn't really it's interesting when you let it well, I've only had a few different ones, but rosemary, I let that one sit for quite a while, and it doesn't really like, it breaks down, but it doesn't really rot. It
mhm.
doesn't really, degrade. It's like,
Okay.
I don't know, like petrified? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, the plant material won't doesn't change its form.
Hmm.
Like, the rosemary still stayed, I could
Yeah.
pull the branch out and I could still bend it and the leaf was still intact. Um, yeah, interesting. But the powders, they were different. It was really like mud on the bottom of the jar. And there's not a lot like when you take the rosemary branch and put it in your mouth and kind of chew on it, there's not really anything left in it.
Mm,
It's really interesting.
okay. And so, like, if
But
you were thinking
shorter, it's
shorter's good.
yeah, just because it's like I don't know, it's like pulls too much.
Yep, that makes sense. Like yeah.
And then you get like bitter flavors from the bark and all this other flavors that you don't necessarily want.
So some principles to work with are go for a small amount. So that could be a quarter of a cup, for
Yeah.
example, of liquid. Put in a small amount of plant to begin with,
Hmm.
whatever you're working with, because of course, pepper versus rosemary are two very different ways of working.
Yeah.
Let it sit throughout the day, test it at various intervals,
Hmm.
and then try it. But that quarter cup, for example, a quarter cup of aged is a lot of aged. And if someone isn't used to
Yeah.
using that, you don't want to down that in one go
No.
if you're not used to it.
No, it's really like a fine cognac. You just like sip it. You don't
Yeah, a few
slam
drops
it.
on the tongue and then try
And
it again. And yeah.
really this I could have done half this amount.
Okay, so that might be a quarter of a cup. So we're thinking like even so
Yeah.
a quarter cup is 4 tablespoons if someone's thinking, and a tablespoon is 15 milliliters. So 60 milliliters would be a lot. 30 mill on what Joanne's showing us, 30 milliliters would be like half might be a good place to start.
Yeah. And I put like 7 juniper berries in here. I didn't even count. I just kind of grabbed
Okay.
a pinch, like I grabbed a bunch of them and threw them in the bowl and ground them up a little bit. But I mean, I know this is going to be potent, but you can start with, because I'll drink that through the whole rest of the day today, or maybe there'll be even some left for tomorrow.
Well, and there's the other question is once you've done it, how long would you keep one of those infusions?
Mm, I I think the shorter the better.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're going to consume it within like a week, but you could go longer. Like just the flavor is going to change. You'll feel it. It becomes less because it's like the plasma. The Shivambu is continuing to clean itself and evolve, even with that in it.
Yeah.
So this is like a living water that we're dealing with. So it's gonna change a lot over time.
And just to reinforce what she's saying, like even Shivambu, where it's been aging for a year, between year one and year two, it changes. Like it's
Mm,
constantly self-balancing, self-cleaning, working it, and it's in response to you, it's in response to the world, it's in response to everything. As we talk about it so much, it's not the same as doing a fermentation with salt or sugar or vinegar or something like that, which eventually that dies. Whatever we put in the sauerkraut is no longer edible. And we don't see that with Shivamba. We don't see a point yet at which it's no longer helpful.
yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
if we put plant material in it, what we think, what's the point of putting plant material in Shivambu? There's another question. What's the point?
yeah, it's just a great way to get the benefit of that plant. Like if you're a herbalist, this will be you'll be all over this, but instead of doing my chamomile tea in distilled water, I actually prefer this. I don't even really make any like water infusions anymore because I feel like I'm actually getting so much more out of the medicine out of the plant so much more effectively with my aged Shivambu. And that's another reason why I do smaller amounts too, because maybe I'll only put a teaspoon of that in another beverage that I'm having. So, yeah, you really get the medicine out of the material way better than water.
And it's faster both in the water and the alcohol sense. Like doing a tincture with alcohol can take weeks or a month depending on, or more depending on who you are and how you're doing it.
Yeah. And I feel like the Dharma Tantra, where they go through that book, they talk about all of these herbs and mixing them with your Shivambu. I really think they're talking about that.
Mm,
I think they're talking about putting it with your aged. This
right.
fly is driving me crazy. Um, yeah. So you just get more out of the plant material. I really feel like that book was written about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so talking about the Dhamma Tantra here in case someone is new to this and wondering. So you can look that up online if you don't already know the Dhamma Tantra. So I think we're at about 20 minutes, and we said we were going to talk about how do you do infusions. I think we've done a
I
good
think we've
primer.
covered it well. It's not complicated. It's very easy, and yeah, just try with the what you have in your kitchen right now. If you have whole black pepper, it's a great one to
Yeah.
start with. I Cayenne was another one that I take fairly regularly. Um, Moringa, rosemary. If you have some fresh rosemary, is really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine did lavender. She loved it. Um, and these you can use for your hair too, like washing your body and as a topical to, yeah, all
Yeah.
kinds of different ways. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also things like, even going to lemon peel or as
Yes, we tried that too. Very interesting. Better
you know,
shorter with the
absolutely.
lemon peel.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you mentioned already, like cinnamon, and you could do cloves. You could do really again. It's just
Yeah.
it's experimenting. But this is all of it's an experiment.
Yeah.
So all
Yes.
that's there. So this feels great. I learned some things from it as well today, and I feel like we've covered the basics of how you would start with this. Do let us know in the comments what you think, and thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again for another short discussion. For us, short 20 minutes is short. We'll come back. Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you.